Hi, this is Anna Imagination with Healing Garden, and welcome to Shifting Perspectives. If you are new to my channel, I am a philosopher, psychologist, and sociologist of 30 years. I was up at 3 a.m. last night with a good friend of mine, diagnosing and covering everything for my career, my direction in life, my clients. And I love the emotion cognitive dissonance. It's got to be the most, once you get to a point where you can identify the emotion, you start to realize how handy of a red flag it is. It's extraordinary. And it's one thing to feel, cognitive dissonance. It's another thing to figure out exactly what logical fallacy you have crammed into your head. So we troubleshot it last night, where I realized that I had probably 3 epiphanies just back to back to back last night. It was extraordinary. His work is, I'm giving him a shout out. Bevan Bird is absolutely amazing. Every time I talk to him, I judge a person based on whether or not they can get me to think of a different perspective. It's not common. It's very, very rare that I find somebody who can get me to think of a different perspective. I'm already thinking in 8 million different perspectives. I'm already hypothesizing and shifting. So for someone to drop something that really gets me thinking is a tip of the hat. The other thing is outlogicizing me. It's congratulations. It's a big deal. There needs to be a medal for that one. Like, there's chess, and then there's try and outlogicize me. It's wonderful. I love it. So when I find somebody who's up for the challenge who can actually do it, it is such a wonderful reward for me. So thank you, Bevan. That being said, almost every time I talk to him, he shows me insight that just blows my mind away, and it allows me to just grow. And I can feel it. As soon as I see the perspectives he's showing me, I grow. And it's wonderful. It's just such a mentally nourishing experience. So last night, I was going over all of the things that I had on my mind, what was bothering me. And one of the things that was bothering me was there's basically dream clients versus the clients that I actually had. And then there's a lot of other factors. There was also how do I explain it? It's the class system, like really breaking it down. And I love my clients at the moment. Like, the clients I have, I wouldn't be working with them otherwise. But I realized that I wasn't happy with a few things. And it's nothing to do with them. It was actually me. And I was exploring this with him last night, and I realized what it was that the clients I value, the clients that I desire, the clients that give me passion and joy are celebrities. And the reason why is because there is a plethora of psychological chemicals, psychological characteristics that come with a celebrity that do not come with any other type of client. The first one being the fame, the spotlight. It is something I have myself experienced. And understanding reputation and the delicate balance of basically your reputation becomes your livelihood. Bottom line, and that's it. Your reputation becomes your livelihood. And you see this with anyone who's in the business setting, but you can lie, you can cover it up, you can do whatever you want. When you get over to celebrity status, it gets really hard to cover it up and lie. because you are under such a microscope. There's no getting away from it. And it's something that it was actually, that's where psychology began for me. I went from studying myself to studying celebrities. Robin Williams was one that I studied for at least 20 years. He was one of the first persons. I loved Robin, and I remember picking up his biography and reading about his mental health when I was 15 years old. Robin Williams was somebody who I was so on top of his mental health. I was watching him. So when he passed away, I take suicide very personally, very, very personally. And I had already had his full, like I knew I was already working with reading up on him and following him. So I knew exactly where he was. And whenever there's prescriptions, whenever they announce, oh, this person is taking this, I'm right there. I'm doing this with Lady Gaga right now. I did it with Freddie Mercury. I love analyzing. Matthew Perry was another one where I, for 15 years, sat there using Matthew Perry's mental health as oh my God, I did so much with his work, just following it and analyzing his case study and just breaking it down. And it was this moment, this sudden realization that it's a different kind of mindset. It's a completely different mindset. And I realized that working with them is just far more enjoyable to me because of the added challenges, the added characteristics. In addition, they're artists, they're performers, which is a whole nother level of, oh my God, I love working with artists. And it was just this, there's so much information. There's so much information. We talked about what my dream client would be. We broke it down. We talked about all of it encompassing. And it was this massive realization of what makes, for me, a dream client a dream client. And we were able to locate a logical fallacy I had. And my logical fallacy was, well, if they're wealthy, they don't need mental health. And it was laughable because here I was, like with Robin Williams and Freddie Mercury and Matthew Perry. And Bevan said to me, a person might have mastered the skill of making money, but that doesn't mean they've mastered any of the other skills like romance or subconscious mind or psychology. And it never occurred. And I know what it was. It's my own prejudice on myself. It was my projected prejudice of myself being put onto that. And I'm thinking, and this is going to get me back into, let's study and analyze money. And this is something that's been like a thorn in my side from day one, because this is how it shaped out in my brain. With the subconscious mind, once you get the mastery of it, relationships, not a problem. Social skills, not a problem. Trauma, catastrophe, easy peasy walk in the park. Career, self-definition, got it. Self-care. So I'm literally going through this checklist in my brain of subconscious mind psychology corrects this. And I'm just going through it. And the only thing that it's not fixing is money. And I'm going, but why? Why? I don't want to get into it here, but I'm just like really wanting to rip apart the concept of money and why. If you have this mastered subconscious mind, can't you produce money? And to me, logically, and I know I have a logical fallacy in here somewhere and I've got to find it. I'm thinking, if I'm so good at psychology, then why can't I master 100% of everything that's psychology. Why am I struggling with money? What is going on with this one particular thing? And I had a lot of people going, well, you have a problem with money. No, I don't. I've already cleared that out. There is nothing there. What I had a problem with, what was it that I had a problem with? It wasn't money at all. It was my time. And then I got over that. Now I'm like, yeah, not a problem now. So it's, sometimes I think that money comes to us as a reward. Money is a fruit. Money is not an energy, it's a fruit. Sex and control are fruits. Fruits are rewards of your labor. And if you are not 100% aligned with your mission, with your goal, with your agenda, the universe does not deliver. It requires 100% pure alignment from point A to point B. But this isn't true because people have pure alignment or don't have pure alignment and the money flows to them. That's just how, and this is the core of this logical fallacy right here is if money was dependent upon this 100% pure alignment, well then, manifestation does not exist the way we think it does. Manifestation is what's throwing this off. All of my logical argument that I have put together is wrong, as is everybody else's. And here's why. Because according to the laws of manifestation, the only thing that's preventing anyone from getting money is this alignment. But there's a ton of celebrities who have a lot of money and they are not aligned. So this whole concept that you have to be aligned to get money is fucking horseshit. It has to be 100% accurate for everybody or it's bullshit. So I am officially declaring that manifestation at this time is garbage. Because if it worked and if everybody had the answer, then it would be 100% accurate. Like I said, I can't figure out money. Because by all the beliefs that poor people have out there on money, it completely invalidates the existence of mentally ill, wealthy people. And I have met so many mentally unhealthy billionaires. And I'm looking at it going, so no, I'm all done listening to poor people try and explain how money works. What the fuck is wrong with me? That's so illogical. And that's it right there. I am, which brings me to my next point. The next realization that I had last night was the division of the classes. And the other thing that we brought up last night was the degradation mindset. And that really is where I am right now. This is really what I wanted to talk about is the changing of the classes. Now, I was told to expect this. I was warned this is going to happen. Brace for it. And I did not realize that that's where I was. I basically maxed out the middle class about, May, June, I would say around July and August, I maxed out the middle class. And I finally got to a point where I'm going, okay, I'm all done. But I didn't realize that that's what it was. And I kept saying to my partner, I'm leaving. I come with me. And he would say, what do you mean? And I'm like, I don't understand. I just, these are feelings and I'm just communicating the feelings to you. I am going forward and I don't want you to be left behind. In the meantime, I'm not leaving my apartment here in Brooklyn and he's not leaving his place in the city. And it's like, what the hell? And he'd be like, I'm right here. And I'm like, yeah, but you're not. I don't understand it. I'm just conveying the feelings to you. And the feelings are, I'm going forward in life and you're not here. And I talk to him every day and we're like, what? And I said, I don't understand. Yesterday, it all just clicked. I am going into the high class and I don't know if he's coming with me. And when you change classes, you leave everybody behind. And it was last night around 9 o'clock. It was this massive epiphany. And I went, that's the feeling that I've been having for the last 6 months is, Anna, it's time to go. You need to leave the middle class behind and finally step into the high class. My network has, for the last 6 months, completely dropped most low and middle class people. And now I'm surrounded by billionaires, celebrities, and millionaires. And I'm holding on to my partner going, come with me. And I went into another website last night, and now I'm part of this group. And again, it's massive, massive billionaires. It's buy my yacht and that level of shit. And I've been in that kind of a world since I was 15 years old. I was groomed for this kind of world, literally groomed on purpose since I was 15. And I am like, I cannot stop it anymore. And this is where the cognitive dissonance came in. This is where, again, it's extraordinary to see cognitive dissonance in work. The massive cognitive dissonance I was experiencing was I was high class, mingling and working with a bunch of low and middle classes. And I could feel the contrast. It's a difference of mindset, which is what I'm going to start breaking this down into. And I'm from the middle class. I was from according to my parents in the 80s, they insisted that we were low middle class. We were middle class, if not high middle class. They were oblivious. We were one of the wealthiest, one of the most revered families in the town. So we were already like high-end middle class. And there were quite a few people who were, that makes so much sense. My second husband and my first husband were low class. They were both of the low class. And they had to bust their ass and work up to get to the middle class. And while they were doing that, I was 15 being groomed for the high class. So, wow, there's just so much information here. And I'm just like, wow, it's like overload because it's all just pouring in the data. And I'm just like, wow, how do I sort this stuff out? There's a lot of prejudice, a lack of accountability in the low and the middle class. There's a lot of bullshit going on in the low and the middle class. Then when you get over into the high class, it just doesn't exist there anymore. You cannot be high class and have this mentality. They're incompatible. And it's extraordinary to see. And I love analyzing stuff like this. I love solving for X. Oh my God, do I love solving for X. I am currently working on a bridge. This is called the class bridge. This is one of the projects that I'm working on. Is basically by breaking down the psychology of the different classes and using my triadic healing. I'm going to be planting 2 bridges. The first bridge is going to be planted within the first to third perspective. This is going to be a free program that allows people of the first to third perspectives to take my course and get themselves to the 6th perspective. I'm going to say the 5th and 6th perspective. The second bridge is a second bridge that goes from the 5th and the 6th perspective to my door, my literal virtual door. If somebody, and that will also most likely be free, so that if somebody actually wants to cross classes and leave the low and middle class, they'll be able to access my triadic healing and evolve themselves from the 1st, 2nd, or 3rd up to the 5th and 6th. And then if they're in the 5th and the 6th, they can then take the 2nd bridge and evolve themselves to my door. From there, I would then screen them, network with them, and bring them into the high class. And this is a project that I'm currently working on. So it's really important that I analyze and dissect what the psychology of the three classes are: the low, the middle, the high class. Because there's people who absolutely love being miserable, and let's keep them where they are, where they're happy being miserable. Some people just are happy being miserable. And that's what I'm looking to do, is sort out the people who actually want to get better versus the people who are happy being unhappy. And I don't want to leave behind people who legitimately want to better themselves, but are being confronted by obstacle after obstacle. So I realized the best way to do this is literally give them a bridge that trains them, that walks them through the process of, here's what you need to know. This is how to go from where you are to here. Now, I cannot work with those people directly. I cannot, for many, many reasons. But if they follow my course and they get through it, it will groom them into a mindset where I can work with them. So they'll have the opportunity to knock on my door eventually and say, okay, I'm here. Now, the course is going to be very cut dry. This is it. This is what it looks like. And these are the qualifications you're going to need to accomplish this, starting with determination, drive, goal, self-propelling, self-motivating. So if you don't have these qualities, you're not going to get through it, bottom line, because that's the way life is. Because that is exactly what life is. The universe does not give you the rewards unless you've proved that you can handle the beginner and intermediate levels. We're supposed to be overcoming low and middle class to earn high class. We are supposed to be conquering and championing these lower mindsets to obtain the fruits of our labor. You are supposed to labor to get the fruit. And it's not that are you okay, baby? It is not that I can or I would make it harder than it has to be. Absolutely not. In fact, I'm paving the road. But I can't do the work for you. And bottom line, that is the life lesson here. And this is really make or break it. This is it right here. No one can do the work for you. To quote Nathaniel Brandon, no one is coming. I have people who want my services and they expect me to literally do the work for them, but they're not doing any of the legwork. And I'm just looking at them going, I can tell you what to do all day long, but at the end of the day, I am just a coach. I am just instructing you. I am just a how-to walk-through guide. I'm not going to motivate you. I am not going to sit here and pump you filled with inspiration to get going from point A to point B. Tony Robbins does that beautifully. We do not need me to do that. So use Tony Robbins to get pumped and then come over here and do the work. But if you're not able to get out of your own way to get to that point, I can't help you. So I'm now breaking down the psychology of the different classes. And yesterday was a massive, just mind-blowing, oh my God, realization. There are 3 stages to crossing over into the high class. The first one, and this is all mindset. It is absolutely the mindset. The second one is the people. And the third one is the money. You change your mindset first. You change the people in your life second. And then the money flows. And I changed my mindset about 6 months ago, but I stayed behind because of my partner. And yesterday we had that wonderful conversation of, this is where I'm going. Are you coming with me? Because I can't be going through life attending ABC and him not being there, missing out on it. And then I try and catch up and I'm talking about life over here with these experiences and he can't relate to me. So that's something that we talked about. And then I realized that I have filled my life with massively elite famous, important, wealthy people. And I noticed that these people are reinforcing my mindset. They're nurturing my mindset. And I noticed that a lot of the bullshit, all the bullshit is gone. All the bullshit that accompanies the lower classes are gone. There's no bullshit here. It's so nice. And yeah, so and then the money flows. The money is absolutely a consequence to this. And that's when I realized that my dream client are people in this high class mindset. And bottom line, it's a high class mindset. And I thought that, it's funny because when I put together Trident Healing, I started off with working with just trauma victims. These were people who were still in the trauma. Oh God, it's amazing to watch my journey now that I think about it. My first few clients were people who are still in the trauma, people who could not get out of their own trauma to even answer the phone when I called. The next level of people, when I changed my marketing, the next level of people that I was talking to were people who had gotten out of their own way, but they were so independent that they didn't need help, quote unquote. They are lacking the third ethic. They think that 20 years in psychology and therapy is good enough for me, and it's a permanent, lifelong process. No, it's not. That's bad psychology. If you are in therapy for more than 2 years, you have a bad psychologist. And there's people who I've been doing this for 15 years, and you think that's acceptable? Okay, to each his own. If you want to take 15 to 40 years working on your subconscious mind, okay. And I left those people behind and I kept going. I upped my standards again. And then I found people, by the way, these are all the different mindsets of low class up to middle class, high class. And then the next level of mindset that I found people with was, I'm just going to cherry pick and take what I need from you and then go and find somebody else to cherry pick off of them. Okay, all right. I increased my standards again. I finally started to get people who were stepping up going, all right, yes, I'm definitely going to pay you. And then they didn't. Increased my standards again. I had people stepping in saying, okay, now I'm going to pay you. And they did pay me. And then they were not doing any of the work and they vanished. Increased my standards again. Now I'm in the upper middle class and people were paying and they're doing the work. And I noticed something. This was extraordinary to see. The situation I have is basically person A is high class, but the one who's paying the bills is the parent. Parent is low class. The actual case study is high class. And I'm looking at it going, well, this is interesting. So I learned a very valuable lesson about this yesterday. And it was a lot that I learned. It was very educational. And that was my breaking point of, I need to increase my standards again. Love my case study. Love her to pieces. And I'm looking at it going, okay. But I wasn't happy. And I noticed the cognitive dissonance. And that's when I realized that my cognitive dissonance was coming from I was in the high class mindset and I was still working with low and middle class. Our mindsets were not the same. And then I was networking and I would have a fantastic time networking because I was completely submerged in people like my mind. And then I would get deeper into it and I'm like, okay, I'm definitely happy now. I'm definitely in my group. I would talk to people. And what was fascinating is I started to notice that psychologists were reaching out to me eager, like, oh my God, I want to talk to you. And I love it. I love it. One of the things that I'm absolutely big on is I am a psychologist for psychologists. I have been doing this for about 3 years ago was the first time I did it. One of my colleagues has 4 doctorate degrees in psychology, psychiatry, child psychology, and one other. All psychiatry, psychology based, 4 doctorate degrees, and she missed some basic PTSD. The woman is a genius. The woman graduated from high school at 15 years old, and had her first doctorate's degree at 20. And then at 22, she had the other 3 doctorate's degrees. And she told me that I am a psychological genius, and she comes to me for psychology. So I'm going, all right, I need to start acknowledging my caliber. I need to really acknowledge my credentials here. So I'm starting to get into the mindset, and this is a mindset. This is big. And I noticed something, because this is something that's such a big, every time you read marketing material, in most cases, it's the author. It's the person who's being sold who wrote it about themselves. Every time you read an author bio, the author wrote that. Almost every author writes their own author bio. It's in third person, but it's written by the author. There is a level of arrogance required in order to prestige. It is almost a prestige mindset. And in order to get to the prestige mindset, let me check this word, make sure it's the right one I'm using here. Prestige. Widespread respect and admiration. Stature. Yes, reputation. This is it exactly. This is precisely what I want to say. I'm going to call it the prestige mindset. And the reason why is this. You cannot sell yourself if you are not in the prestige mindset. You don't get into the prestige mindset unless you own your authority, unless you can say, I'm the psychologist to psychologists. You cannot be the psychologist to psychologists if you don't say it and own it. Now, I want to show you something. This is the prestige mindset. You could even call it the authoritative mindset. I am a psychological genius. I have been given this title by many, many professionals, including other psychological geniuses who revere me. Psychology to me is literally like kindergarten math. This is my favorite one. I just discovered this morning. The humors are what people in medicine described illnesses prior to germs in the 1700s. And so many people, like I see modern psychology like you see the humors. That's what it looks like to me. And it's suddenly this ownership and this authority mindset, this prestige mindset. You can't be that level of professional and that level of authoritative. You can't be that level of good if you don't know it, if you don't say it, if you don't claim it. Watch this. The poverty mindset, the degradation mindset, the low and the middle class will punish you for thinking with the prestige mindset. They will punish you for it. They will shame you for it. They will slander you, in most cases abuse you for it, and then ostracize you for it. But you can't be successful if you don't have it. They punish you for success. And this is what we never talk about, is the conflict, the war, the competition between the prestige mindset and the poverty mindset, the low or the middle class mindset. I'm going to be spending the next 2 weeks probably doing nothing but talking about mindsets of the different classes and breaking it down. Because the more I'm in the high class and the more I'm mingling with the high class, the more I'm studying their mindset in comparison to where I've been my whole life. And I'm looking at it going, you want to know what your problem is? You think like a poor man. You want to know what your problem is? You think like a middle class worker. That's your problem. And you want to be wealthy? You need to think with the wealthy mindset. But it's not about the money. That's a fruit. It's about the prestige and the authority. It's about the ownership. It's about the class. So it was really interesting that the success mindset, I'm going to call it the success mindset. I like that. The success mindset requires that you own your credentials. Boom. The success mindset requires that you own your credentials. And we are shamed for owning our credentials in the poverty mindset. You are set up for failure in the low and the middle class. You're set up for it. The minute you are born into the low, middle class, poverty mindset, degradation mindset, you are stamped with a guarantee to fail. That is your first obstacle. That is your only obstacle. And I can sit there and I can see it so clearly now. And I'm just going, oh, holy shit. Wow. Oh my God. Like my world, my whole life just suddenly makes a lot of sense. Oh, so much sense. I'm going to be, oh my God, I'm going to have so much to say about this. Now, and this is really it. It's the class system. It's the class changing. And it's all about that degradation mindset, which is the class changing. It's very much the class changing. There's the differences of the mindset. There's comparing the mindsets. And then there is, oh my God, this is making so much more sense now. Scarcity mindset. Oh my God. And oh my God, it's pouring in and I'm going, oh my God, like this makes. Where do I even begin? So much data. I'm just like, oh, it's candy. Now, I did it. I rose out of the low and the middle class. I was middle class and then I dropped down into low class and then I jumped up to middle class and then I climbed up to high middle class and now I'm into the high class. So I've broken the classes. I've gone through them. And I'm looking at this going, your mindset is what makes everything hard. When people say, why is it so hard? Because your mindset makes it hard. That's why. It isn't hard. It isn't hard at all. Your mindset is what makes it hard. And of everything I've looked at, mindset is 100% what is at the core of mental health. Mindset is 100% the ingredients of your perspective, which just happens to be my mastery, perspective psychology. People think meditation, positive affirmations are the key to a mindset. And it's this sudden realization. And it's not education. It is not education that is the difference between the classes. Education is not the difference between the classes. It's not. It is 100% an outlook to life. It is your overall how you view life. So you can have your 12 perspectives. Those are your stages of growth. You can have the 12 perspectives in a low class. You can have your 12 perspectives in a middle class. And you can have your 12 perspectives in the high class. And then you have your classes, your 3 classes. And then you have your poverty mindset and your success mindset. So you have the 3 classes, low, middle, and I'm going to tell you right now, there's no difference between low and middle. 0. There's no difference. The mindset is the same. The only difference is the degree, which is why the middle class is shrinking. It's just a degree. So, but the mindset is the same. The low and the middle class are identical, except one has a different chemical combination of percentages, but it's the same. High class has a completely different mindset. Now, you can be wealthy and you can also have a middle class mindset. You can have the wealthy mindset and you can also be classless. You can have the 12th perspective and still have the mindset. I wonder, can you have the mindset if you're 12th perspective? Yeah, you can have the 12th perspective and still be, because Victor Hugo was this way, you could be the 12th perspective and still have a middle class mindset. And it's really, it isn't your knowledge. It is not your education that makes you high class versus the lower, the middle class. It's not your wealth that makes you lower high class. It is your life outlook. It is your class is literally your summation of life. And that's what it is. For instance, I'm going to quote my father here. You pay taxes and you die. That was the motivation I needed to not be anything like him. Pay taxes and die. That is absolutely the low and the middle class, through and through. I was watching Walking Dead last night, and I'm at the scene with the governor, the prison. Oh my God, I love this so much. They have Merle arrested. They have him inside the prison. And I pegged him a while ago at third perspective. And then Herschel walks in. And I went, oh my God, this is going to be awesome. And my daughter went, what's going on? And I said, you have a second perspective / fourth perspective. That is Herschel conversing with a third perspective. Both men are white. That's important. This is how this is broken down. Oh my God, I had so much fun with this moment. The entire show, you see Merle being a garbage piece of shit human being to everybody in the show. If you're black, oh, you're treated like garbage by Merle. If you're a woman, you are treated like a sexual piece of meat for his entertainment, period. And if you are basically a white man, if you're an immigrant like Glenn, then you're treated like shit by Merle. If you are a white man, then you're on his same level so long as you're not a cop. So, because they have a problem with third perspectives, have a problem with authority. They see authority figures as competing for their authority. So they're very defensive. So here he is, which is why he hates Rick. One of the reasons why he hates Rick. So Herschel walks in and I went, oh my God, this is going to be interesting. Rule number 1 of a third perspective. This is so fucking disgusting. And we're talking third perspective white man. This is important because this is how third perspective white man thinks. White man is on the same level as you. Hierarchy. Everything's a hierarchy. And this is the hierarchy in third perspective white man. I need to third perspective white man. White man is equal and on par with other white man. If the white man is older than you, well, then you listen and respect. And if the white man is younger than you, well, then you treat them like shit, which is why Merle treats Daryl like shit, is because Daryl is younger. It's a pecking order. So Herschel walks in. Herschel's older and he's white. And I went, oh, this is going to be interesting because according to the perspectives, Merle will revere and highly respect Herschel. Sure enough, Merle was amazingly respectful to Herschel. When Herschel pulled out the Bible, I laughed. I went, yeah, there's your fourth perspective. They've got to pull out the Bible and they've got to teach their laws to other people. That is so fourth perspective. So he pulls out the Bible and he starts quoting the Bible. There's that non-consensual education. I'm going to assume you're an idiot because you are less than me. So he designates himself the role of the teacher, and he starts condescending to Merle, who then quotes the Bible back at him. Herschel is dumbfounded. You know this. And Merle says, my favorite thing about Woodbury is the library. Merle was educated. Merle was learned. Merle read books. Merle was a victim of third perspective hierarchical thinking. Nothing else. Interesting, right? Real interesting. And then Merle gave Herschel valuable information to take down the governor because he respected him. Once you understand the way the perspectives think, it unlocks all of the doors. But both men were very much middle-class mindset. Doesn't matter how educated you get, if you are stuck in middle-class mindset, and it's nothing about the money. I remember this one day, I was on the bus. Oh my God. It was Central New York, and I was going to work, and I was on the bus. And I had this old man very loudly talking to me the entire bus ride, insisting, you must be rich. And all I could think of the entire time was, if I was rich, would I be on the bus listening to you? I said nothing to him. But he kept screaming very loudly, you've got to be really wealthy. You've got to be really rich. And what he was picking up on was my class. Nothing else. He just knew I was high class. And as a result, he was absolutely obnoxious about it. But it's nothing to do with money. And people who are high class know this. People who are low and middle class don't know this. They're assuming. There's a lot of prejudice in the low and the middle class. And that's really the difference between the low, the middle class, and the high class. The high class are without prejudice. The high class are open-minded. The high class almost always see the positive outlook of life. The low and middle class are pessimists. The high class have figured out how to maneuver through obstacles so that they can keep and maintain a positive outlook. They're not optimistic because they're stupid. That's what a pessimist would say. They're optimistic because they have figured out how to navigate life so that it is positive. But a pessimist will say quite the opposite. A realist of the middle class will trash talk the optimist. The classes are everything. And only the uneducated and the ignorant think that it's about money. Because you change classes long before you have the money. You change network and people before you have the money. Your mindset attracts the money. It's the mindset. The money is just a consequence. One thing that low and middle classes have not figured out is money. They don't know a damn thing about it, which is why they can't get it, which is why they can't get out of where they are. Money is mindset. Interesting. Interesting. Money is mindset, just like love and control are mindset. Interesting. Money is mindset. Interesting. Really fascinating. I've got so much to think about now. Money is mindset. Because you don't get the money unless you have the mindset. Manifestation will bring you the money and then you'll lose it because you don't have the mindset. Oh, I am so totally going to, and I'm going to dissect and figure out money. Like I'm going to break this code and logically figure it out. I want there to be a formula. So you do boom, 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 boom. You just do the formula and poof, there it is. But money, the mindset is definitely part of it. I'm now taking clients. If you are interested, take a look at my link below. Thank you so much. And may the kindest of words always find you.